Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efene. Great Malabite, what happened? We were looking for you.
Good morning, Ruben.
You disappeared from the radar.
I thought you were trying to confer the enviable status of a Malabite on Aaron.
Anyway, we are glad we have recovered you, as they say in Kaduna.
Yes.
Mr. Efene.
They don't rescue people there.
Mr.
They recover
Efene,
them.
since there's no Ologboshere, I'll give you that title now.
No, please. There's still one. It's just suspended.
Okay, suspended
Yes.
Ologboshere. Okay.
Now, let's start the review. By the way, good morning, Rufai.
Good morning.
Good morning, the ever beautiful Tundu.
Good morning,
How
Mr.
can I
Fanny.
forget that?
Thank you.
Now, let's start with these days newspapers, Nigeria's newspaper of records. The lead story, Audacious assault on Imo Police Headquarters forces Buhari to remove IGP Adamu. DIG Baba appointed in acting capacity. Let's look at how other newspapers are reporting this story before we'll come back to discuss it. Daily Trust newspaper. After Daily Trust story, Buhari fires IGP Adamu over poor management, escalating insecurity. Lawyers plan fresh suits. Ex-AIG set agenda for new IGP. President can fire and hire. Meet new police helmsman. Of course, the News Direct, Nigerian News Direct newspaper, why Buhari removed IGP Adamu, minister, appoints Baba as acting IGP. The Nigerian Tribune reporting that story, Adamu's journey cut short, Baba 58, named new IGP. Now, if we look at how the Daily Trust has also reported this story, saying, giving reasons why the former IGP was fired, IGP Adamu. Now, he was to be there for another 3 months because he was given that extension after his tenure expired, and he was supposed to have retired going by the extant laws. But President Buhari extended his tenure amid, of course, outcry. But suddenly, he did not spend that 3 months before he was. Yes, the Daily Trust did a report on Saturday that exposed the sorry state of policing in the country, talking about poor financial management, poor administrative lapses, and of course, which has affected operations of the police nationwide. Perhaps, as they say, the last straw that breaks the camel's back happens to be the audacity, as this day puts it, with which the police headquarters in Owerri and other state institutions like the correctional centers were attacked by bandits, terrorists, call them whatever name you want to call them. But that in itself was the last straw that breaks the camel's back. But another reason which the Daily Trust adduced is that the judgment on those, on the extension, because some lawyers, one barrister, Okpara, went to court to challenge the extension, that judgment was about to be given, and the optics or the feeling is that the federal government may lose on that. Hence, this action had to be taken quickly to ease out Adamu, to, of course, save the government from some embarrassment, but also save Adamu from himself, because the security situation, policing seemed to have gone down, and down. But another issue which we must also look at, because all morning I've been listening to radio on my way to work, complaints about the unusual, unparalleled nepotism of President Muhammadu Buhari, because the expectation was that perhaps the IGP position would be used to correct what many feel is a lapse in the federal character when it comes to the security agencies by looking elsewhere, preferably the Southeast, to be represented at that level of security. But that has not happened. But one thing that will also shock our listeners is that this IGP, Adamu, no, not Akali Adamu,
Usman Alkali
Baba, was only promoted to the position of DIG in December. Recall that ahead of the termination or the terminal date of Adamu's tenure, statutorily, the Police Service Commission sent 3 names, shortlisted 3 DIGs to the president to pick from. Of course, the most qualified, going by their rating, was one from the South. No, from the South. Let me put it, I'm not too sure which area of the South now. But the president rejected those names, extended the tenure of Adamu, then suddenly the names of some AIGs were promoted, including one commissioner of police to the position of DIGs. And if you pick anybody from that group, so many DIGs will have to retire. And we're talking about this, that it will not be a good way to send away officers that have been properly trained. But here we are. That is exactly what the president has done. I just want to get a report that on this matter that was published some time ago. Where, yes, this is the Nation report of December 20. And I will just read it. The Police Service Commission on Friday rose from its 10th plenary meeting with the promotion of 4 Assistant Inspector General of Police and 1 Commissioner to Deputy Inspector General of Police. The statement reads, the new DIGs are AIG Usman Akali Baba. He was only promoted in December to DIG position. So those who accuse the president of nepotism, well, you cannot crucify them. Because recall that when the position of the Director General of the DSS was available, the most senior, most competent to occupy that position happened to be somebody from the South. But the President Muhammadu Buhari, overlooked that and went outside the service to bring a retired officer to head that position. Ruben, Rufai, and Tundu, I throw over to you to continue the discussion.
I mean, this is a very good throwback, and what a way you've analyzed it. It just goes back to those lingering factors that we have on ground. I mean, some people, I think it was a certain group leaning to the eastern part of this country, did release a statement to say this will have been a great moment for the president to be able to right some wrongs. And that sentiment is valid, owing to the fact that we've seen what is happening in the country. In case we do not know, another attack was made yesterday in Imo at another police station, another local government, just after the IG and some other government emissaries left. There is growing insecurity across board. And people are wondering, why can't we put people from other zones? There's call for secession. People are saying they are disgruntled. Why can't we spread it round? Is it that we don't have competence in other zones in this country?
Clearly, that is not the case.
That is not the case. So that's been the sentiment out there. I know very soon, today, tomorrow, the president will respond to those sentiments. I would like to see what the response will be. But we should harmonize, rein in a lot of people, make them feel part. Inclusion is the word here.
Well, if any, I understand where you and others are coming from, and many of the issues that have been raised will need to be investigated. Yes, many Nigerians are convinced. There's nothing you will tell them that this president, President Muhammadu Buhari, tends to organize everything to favor people from his own part of the area, from his own part of the country. And all attempts to get the president to change has not, been possible. But let's take a break. When we come back, the conversation with you, Emmanuel Efeni, will continue. Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. And we're still with Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni, who has been helping to review newspaper stories from around the world. Well, Emmanuel Efeni, great Malabar.
Yes.
Before we went on that break, I was trying to comment on the point made about nepotism. And, the point is many Nigerians expected that after having won the victory about the need for the non-extension of the tenure of the former IG, as it now is, Mohammed Adamu, that the president will use the opportunity to appoint somebody from another part of the country. The South person you refer to, that was the favorite, well, I don't know, he may not have been the favorite of the president. That was Moses Jitobo.
Yes.
That's his name.
Yes.
AIG Moses Jitobo. We worked together with President Jonathan.
Yes.
But look, the president makes his own appointments on the basis of his own considerations. And the point that was made by the Minister of Police Affairs, Digin Yadi, who's one of those very quiet, almost non-existent, unnoticed ministers.
Under the radar.
Yeah, but he found an opportunity this time to at least do something by announcing, an appointment. The point that he made, he was quoting Section 7 of Section 2 of the Police Act 2020. And he was talking about seniority, competence, and other considerations that the president looked at to have appointed this Baba. Now, but many people are saying that, okay, Usman Alkali Baba has just one more year to spend. Okay, will he be able to make the difference within 1 year? What will the president do? Because I'm raising this point because I don't think we've seen the end of the story yet. If indeed it is true that Usman Alkali Baba would retire within the next 1 year, what would the president do for the remaining part of his administration? But you are right, many Nigerians are concerned about what looks like a dominant emerging modernization narrative. However, if we check from 1999, we have had more Southerners as Inspector General of Police of Nigeria than Northerners. But I don't think, many Nigerians will be ready to take that perspective look at it, do a perspective analysis. They restrict the analysis to this administration. And they say this administration, in one place or the other, prefers to put Northerners in places. But a perspective analysis will indicate that we have had more Southerners as Inspector General of Police since the return to civilian rule in 1999. If we look at the profile of this Baba, another concern that I have expressed before you join us is about his date of birth. On one hand, we hear that he has just 1 more year to go. On another hand, the date of birth that is published does not confirm that. So is there some hanky-panky going on? Now, the operative law in terms of the appointment of IGs now is Police Act 2020.
Yes.
Right? That Police Act 2020 describes, stipulates the tenure for an Inspector General of Police. Okay, those who are putting up the modernization argument are saying that maybe under that law, this is an attempt to put another Northerner in charge of the Nigeria Police for the next 4 years. But we need to know the exact date of birth of Usman Alkali Baba. Was he born in 1963 or any time after that? So why are these details? Or are we going to wake up tomorrow and we'll be told that he was born in 1966? So there is a certain ambiguity that I have seen there that needs to be clarified. Finally, if you look at his CV, yes, he has very good credentials. He's been first secretary. He's been in charge of criminal investigation
like
department.
Most people at that level of the police, they have good credentials.
Okay.
There's nothing special about his credentials, please.
Okay.
Then also, before Tundu would come in, you were talking of the minister, under the radar minister. What was his name?
Digin Yadi.
Yes. He was talking about seniority.
Yes.
This police officer, was promoted to this position in December 19. That was when he was promoted. There are several persons ahead of him in terms of seniority. So what is he talking about? What is he talking about? Also, the fact that some other people are saying he has just 1 year to go. I hope somebody is not just trying to railroad him to the IG position so at least he can get to that position before he retires. Is that how to deal with the current security situation we have in this country? Why can't we just use competence for once? The Police Service Commission recommended the most competent guy, 1, 2, 3, in that order. And the president just threw that aside. And they started promoting junior officers in December. Now you have made him ID, somebody promoted to GIG in December. How do you justify that? Tunde, over to you.
I fail to see how one can justify that in a country like this. As I was saying earlier, we have at least 250 different ethnic groups. It looks appalling. This acting IG now is from Yobe State. He succeeded a man from Nasarawa State, who succeeded a man from Niger State. What is this trying to tell us? It is appalling. The whole point of democracy, as I was saying earlier, is about responsiveness. You cannot sit there in an ivory tower and block your ears to the complaints of the people. It is appropriate for the president to listen to Nigerians who are demanding more diversity in these sensitive positions. That's just the bottom line.
And the most important question I'd like to ask Mr. Ifeni is, will this change stop continuous attacks on police installation? Will this change avert impending doom as regards security challenges in the country? Because just yesterday, after the former IG and some other government emissaries left Imo State, there was another attack in the local government on a police station.
In fact, that is the lead story of the Vanguard
newspaper. So how quick will it swing into action? Will anything change?
Well, let's hope. A new broom sweeps clean. That's a popular African saying. So let's expect that he will do things differently.
It depends on the nature of death. So a new broom will not sweep everything clean. It depends on how dirty the place is.
So you mean the situation is so grave?
It depends on how dirty the place is. So.
But let's just look at Vanguard newspaper, which has the story you were talking about. Anarchy worsens in Imo. Another police station burnt. That's the Vanguard newspaper. Yes. Detainees freed. 3 police vehicles burnt. There's no hiding place for IPOB members, says immediate past IGP. Hoodlums are cowards. Resist them. Oshimbajo advises Imolites. Masob accuses federal government of sponsoring attacks in Southeast. 1 killed, 36 vehicles burnt, 68 detainees escaped. Imo CP, the Imo Commissioner of Police. Attack plot to destabilize Southeast, according to Human Rights Writers Association. Federal government to pardon escaped inmates who return voluntarily. Aregbeshola, defend yourselves, Uzodima tells policemen. Now, of course, the Guardian newspaper has a similar story. Again, gunmen raided police station after VP sacked IGP visited Imo. Now, other stories, we'll look at other stories. The New Telegraph newspaper, New Telegraph. CAN, that's the Christian Association of Nigeria, blames president for Nigeria's woes. Says negligence of present administration liable for insecurity others. While the Daily Sun newspaper, pain as strike paralyzes hospitals, courts, police, doctors, judicial workers, lecturers, strikes take toll. Yes, the National Association of Resident Doctors are on strike. The judicial workers are on strike. Of course, the academic staff of polytechnics began their own strike yesterday. Lots of strike here and there, paralyzing critical sectors in the Nigerian society. Now, the doctors are still on strike. In fact, yesterday, the association was urging the doctors, resident doctors in the isolation centers to join the strike. If they do, you know what the implication of that. And in fact, they were even putting a fine that any branch of the association that fails to join the strike will be fined 5 million naira. I don't think they should be doing that. Just as they have the right to go on strike, I think those who have decided not to go on strike should also be allowed to exercise that right not to go on strike. Now, if we just look at the foreign papers quickly, in the UK, yes, the Guardian newspaper. No, let's start with the Times of London. Oxford jab trial paused amid fear of blood clots. Yes, British study delayed while regulators investigate. Yes, a trial of the Oxford vaccine in British children has been paused while the regulators investigate the rare blood clots in adults. I think that's a nice precaution to take. We'll hear the outcome of that investigation. But the Guardian newspaper of UK, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, is urging the UK citizens, keep taking jab, says Prime Minister, as trial pause to investigate clots. Now, the Daily Mail newspaper, cheaper test to save our summer holidays. Rapid COVID test could make foreign holidays affordable within weeks, instead of the costly gold standard swab that are currently being used, which costs as much as £200. Yes, the cheaper option is being proposed so that visitors can come to the UK, and of course they can pay for the package to take the standard test day 2 and day 8 when they come into UK. Every effort being made to ensure that the economy in the UK reopens fully. Ruben, Rufai, and Tundu.
I mean, those are economies that know what it means for the economies to bounce back quickly. And it's shocking that as economies like the UK, backing on measures like this, we are not doing as much as needed here. You'll see the UK is a work in progress. It's a clear indication of how science works. They had the vaccine, they had a vaccine rollout campaign, a proper vaccination campaign, and you can see the after effect on the economy. Death numbers reduced, infection numbers reduced. Hospitalization reduced. And you can see it. You can see the science for yourself. Now they're talking about holidays. This time last year, it wasn't the case in the UK. Now they're talking about holidays. Now they're talking about getting their lives back on track. Now they're talking about improvements because this, test, not the gold standard PCR test, these are other, below the line tests. They've been able to increase the level of efficiency of this test. So they will be deploying all of that very soon.
It will cost less. So people are encouraged to travel.
People can travel. And when they travel, obviously there's a direct impact on the economy because the economy starts to reboot.
Well, no firm decision has been taken by the United Kingdom on the question of whether people will be allowed to travel for holidays. The Prime Minister was saying 2 days ago that it's a possibility. But that would depend on what happens in other parts, of the world, whether people will be allowed to go on summer holidays or not. Now, but the excitement is about the freedom that the people will now be offered on April 12th, that's Monday, when people are encouraged to book tables, to go to pubs and restaurants, with the Prime Minister also saying, well, he too will go to a pub and take a pint and all of that. But clearly, the United Kingdom has done very well in terms of vaccination. But it's not the end of the road yet. That's the big message from the Prime Minister. And the big controversy is around vaccine certificates and passports. 40 MPs on both sides are opposing, Prime Minister Boris Johnson, on the issue of whether vaccine certificates will become a part of, British life. But thank you very much, for your inputs, Emmanuel Efene.